Hello and welcome to the Story Engine podcast. My name is Kyle Gray, and today on the show we have Lisza Crisalle. Lisza is an expert in consolidating the many different systems from email to landing pages, websites, social media, and bringing it all under one roof to help support freedom, ease, and simplicity for entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to be talking about her philosophy and her approach and creating a story that shows the promise that she makes with automation. So without any further ado, let's hand it over to Lisza Crisalle. Lisza Crisalle, welcome to the Story Engine podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I am excited.
I am excited to have you here today too. You do one of the most complementary skills to mine and one of the most important things. And I always value people with your perspective in working in automations and systems and simplification of business through that. But before we get into all of that juicy stuff, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you're showing up in the world today?
Of course, I would love to. Boy, I have been around for been around the moon a few times or the sun a few times. And so I think I'm very fortunate in bringing several lifetimes of experience to the table for our company. Prior to my husband and I starting our company 22 years ago, I was actually in law for over 20 years. And so I bring a background of understanding contracts and uh, litigation and corporate law and that area. And I was able to bring that as behind the scenes for our company. We started in 2003. In the beginning, it was my husband was the front facing of the company, and I was actually behind the scenes. I was running everything in the office and the admin stuff and the marketing. And we've evolved, and that's a beautiful thing about business is if you're not growing, you're dying. And so our company has had many evolutions over the years, while we still have our original division. So we have several divisions of our company. So a very original division where we were in the health and nutrition and mental wellness space. We work with health practitioners. We're well known in that, kind of the OGs in that space. And that division is still running, right? It's still running. It's on autopilot. It does amazing. And we're known there. But in the process, what happened is we started working with the business owners. And initially, we were teaching the business of health, the business of nutrition, showing them, teaching them how to monetize different things. And it began to evolve, and went more into the business strategy. I'm a business strategist. That's really my my sweet spot. It's my special powers, whatever you want to call it. I love strategy. I love understanding and diving into a business and seeing where they're at, where they want to go, and then reverse engineering the process to help them get there, right? Like it's that cool, way to kind of look in and have that crystal ball, right? And it's so much easier to look into other businesses and see because when you're in the business, we have a saying that says when you cannot read the label from inside the jar, right? You're in it, right? So everything you can't really see a full picture like you can as if you're looking over it. So that's really as our business has evolved, we went more into like tech geeks that we are. We geeked out on processes and systems. And initially, we used to help custom build different systems because there wasn't a one-all solution. That changed about 7 years ago. And the minute we found that, we knew we were onto something really, really amazing. And we went all in. We started our agency in 2020, so now almost 6 years ago. And we haven't looked back, and it just has continued to grow and evolve. It's exciting and it's fun, and it's a piece that we just love helping businesses, what we call simplify to scale.
Amazing. It makes a lot of sense what you said about strategy, that it's really difficult when you're in your own business to know the right strategy. You know, as a marketer, I know it's difficult to be aware of the 99 things you aren't doing and really trusting the one thing that you're choosing to do. And I find the same problem occurs when people are creating their talks. There's kind of the same experience of there's so much around, so much to choose from, so much to do, and it's difficult to navigate those choices on your own a lot of the time. Um,
Absolutely agree.
and in your process, I'm curious when it comes to strategy and looking in to for the opportunities to apply your tools and your automation and your scaling. What are some of the things that you think you look for that are different than most people, or what do you value differently and look for in clients or for the opportunities that they might have?
Actually look for the gaps. What is missing, right? It's the negative space, right? It's what
Mm-hmm.
is missing. Many times what we see is most businesses and most business owners have, and I'm not exaggerating, 10, 15, 25 different apps and programs and softwares and all these things to run their business because again, it's shiny object syndrome and what about this and what about that? And it's about, they're frustrated because they're trying to get all of these things working together. I had one client who literally we went through her process and she had 25 different like things that she had to log into to on various things to run her business. And we're like, let's like you got so much, let's simplify everything down. Let's find what is missing, what are the gaps, what are the things that you like there's either too much or there's not enough of. And so it's kind of like the discover, it's a discovery process. And so when we first start with a client, we have I love our onboarding process because we spend time with them to and really dive in and ask them the questions. What are they using for this? What, do they have something that, does this process? And so we're not only looking for what they have, but what they don't have. And it's looking for those gaps is where we can then say, oh my gosh, this is so cool because boy, we can help you sort of streamline all this. Like I love cleaning stuff up, right? We clean it up, we streamline things and help them be more efficient because when they're not wasting time on trying to figure out, did this information come over and did this connect and where did it fall through the cracks and all those things, we clean all that up and we create systems that you build one time and they work for you over and over and over again.
So one of my immediate reactions, it's interesting, but I even feel a little bit of emotions around this.
Oh,
As I'm one of those people who has a lot of different systems, and I kind of built as I needed them and plugged them in as I needed them. And I think one of the biggest challenges I imagine your clients face too, they must be like me in some kind of ways, is if I was confronted with that at first, I would think, man, but each of these platforms are very addictive in a way that you maybe doesn't intuitively understand. But when I start building my first landing page on my software, that's fine. But I'm at the point where I have like 200 ones, and there's probably only like 10, that are still alive or need to be alive. But to migrate all of that into another system and make sure that they're rebuilt simultaneously with an email CRM and my calendar links and all of these things, there's like a response of like, oh my gosh, that's so much like moving of things. And even though my house is, built on sand, to see it all like whirl away and be reinvented, is like a little bit scary. Do you encounter this with the people that you work with a
oh
lot?
yes, and I understand your pain very well.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little story, right, of our journey through this. As I
Okay.
mentioned, we started our company in 2003. Back in those days, they didn't have the software like we have today. So we started on a platform called One Shopping Cart. So it's literally like, products and things like that. We had that for, again, I think 8 or 9 years and completely outgrew it. And then another platform came along called Infusionsoft, which we used to call Confusionsoft. But our company was at a place where it was ready for more capabilities. So we moved everything onto Infusionsoft and literally built that for 15 years. So you want to talk like 15 years worth of campaigns and emails and processes and all the things. And it was like a quagmire. Just think of it like a bowl of spaghetti, right? It was a
I think of
bowl.
it like a weedy garden.
Oh, there you
And
go, right?
you make a little plot in 2003 and then you grow it a little bit. And then the next plot over, you're growing, you're expanding. And by like 2000, whatever, you look back and that plot's full of weeds and you're like, oh, but I got to get to that. And then by the time you've cleaned that one up, it's just like, it's the garden's gone out of control.
It was out of control, but we didn't stop there because then ClickFunnels came along. And again, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just telling you, we had the great opportunity to work directly with Russell Brunson. It was amazing. And unfortunately, the ClickFunnels at that time never was able to do what we were looking for it to do. But we were running Infusionsoft and ClickFunnels simultaneously, okay, for 3 years. And we're like, there's got to be a better solution. It's not what we're trying to achieve here. And then we found our platform, right? Like the skies opened up and we studied it and we spent the first year literally moving and transitioning everything over into one platform, right? Because we always run everything before we will ever offer it to our clients. And we spent a year testing it, moving, getting everything set up, getting it. And literally we were able to remove all of our other platforms, everything, and run our entire business, our entire company on one platform. That includes calendaring and schedules and surveys and everything you can imagine built into one place. And we tested it extensively. And when we launched it in 2020, we knew it was ready to go. And so we started bringing our clients on first. Again, that first year as an agency was just with our existing clients. We didn't, really market it, but we were getting referrals. And we would consistently get referred over a business that says, hey, we're on this platform and we want to move over. So we are very experienced at that. And so what I'll share with you to answer your question is there are people who are very experienced who can help it be a much less difficult process. I'm not going to say it's easy. It takes time. And when it's properly mapped out, and that's, again, I love doing this because we map it out so that it makes sense, so that there's no disruptions, so that it feels seamless to you and to your clients. There's pieces that we do in a very specific process and order to warm up the list and to warm up the new platform so that by the time everything transitions over, it's already running smoothly, right? So it's not something you would do overnight. It is something that does take a little bit of time, but when done properly, doesn't have to be stressful. Again, because we take the time, we map everything out first, right? We work and create a strategy, and we usually do it in phases. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, whatever that takes, so that it moves over seamlessly so that you have as little disruption as possible. And the same thing for your clients, right? It becomes seamless. And that's really important. It's not just like, oh gosh, okay, we're going to switch over to this and we just start using it and it doesn't work that way. And again, because we want to make sure that your email deliverability is increasingly high. We have some of the highest deliverabilities in the marketplace. We want to make sure, again, that your clients understand the process, what's going through. And we train them. We actually train the clients on how to help build your deliverability even better. So we go through this really beautiful phased system to help your new platform be able to run even more efficiently than you could ever really imagine right now when you're running all these different pieces.
Hmm. Okay. So this has been a pretty good map of like what makes you unique or different.
Yeah.
And now we've explored one problem, the weedy garden problem. What are some of the other symptoms of the problems that you solve for your clients? What is somebody saying to their friend at a coffee shop the day before they meet you and hear about you? What are they complaining about?
They're usually, I like that. They're in a coffee shop. They're complaining that um, the information, their information on their clients isn't all in one place. So, meaning maybe they have a calendaring program that has like a calendar set up and they might have a calendar system, but it's not feeding that information into their CRM. So the important piece here is that we want to make sure from the moment a prospect comes into your world, from whatever way that is, whether it's from ads, whether it's from finding a calendar link or booking a link or an AI employee, whatever means that they come into your world, it is tracked from the first inkling that they discover you for the lifetime of that quote unquote prospect or client. So we know every single link that they click, every email that they open, every survey that they take, right? So you can even you can score a prospect based upon how much interactivity they have. And so the more they interact, the higher the score, which means guess what? I have a really warm lead, not just a cold lead. So it gives you so much more information to work with versus having just a calendar link and someone's booking a call. Okay, now what? How do you move them to the next piece? How do you track? Are they engaging? Are they opening up your emails? Are they clicking through to download stuff? Are they doing these things? And we have a process where we track every single component because we want you to know everything
Hold on,
your
Lisa.
prospect is.
We're getting into solutions now.
Oh, okay.
We're here for problems.
Okay, problem.
And it's such a hassle to get all their information in one place. There's so much extra work and inefficiency, and we're feeling that we're losing out on it. We don't know where to look or what to do to actually fix it, but maybe we feel like we're losing, our best time, our best mind. So we're spending all of our energy maintaining the system that's supposed to give us energy.
Yes, correct.
Any other flavors of problems?
So I would say the problem is that they're getting stuck in the process versus having the process automated. Meaning, what do I mean by that? So they are having to log in somewhere to see what this person did, and then, oh, did we send them an email? Or do I need to manually send an email? So are they doing things manually that can be automated? I probably that's one of the biggest things I'm seeing across the board. I can't even tell you how many businesses I've spoken to that they literally are doing the follow-up processes manually.
Yeah, great. I like that.
Okay.
Now let's talk about
solving problems.
Yeah. Now we're on solutions, but not what you do to solve the problem, but what you get when the problem is solved. So a weedy garden of a business becomes a streamlined, energizing business.
Yeah, streamlined, well maintained.
That allows you to do your best work.
Yeah, well maintained, meaning it's like the lawn's always mowed, right? So I say that, right? It's always mowed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's much easier to mow it when it's short than when it's all overgrown, right? So it takes off a lot of that extra time and burden, right? Because it's already cleaned up.
And if I were to just guess, I imagine there's a certain level of peace that when I really can trust my systems, I can take time off more peacefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I share a story?
Yes, please.
So this is a perfect one. So one of our specialties is working with AI, and we have something called AI employees. And one of our long-term clients, she's been with us for years. She's what we call her title is a trichologist. Most people don't know what this is, a trichologist. So she's a specialist with people who have hair loss and hair problems, like alopecia, things like that. And she helps them mostly nutritionally, and she's got all kinds of resources, but she's also a hairdresser. So she has her own salon. And so one of her biggest challenges was that people would call her, and she's a sole proprietor. So they would call her and she'd get interrupted. And so it was just really time consuming. And she was answering all the same questions over and over again. We said, look, we have this AI employee. Let's get this set up for you. So we trained it to sound like her, be like her, answer all the questions and do the things. So for the first time in many, many years, her daughter was graduating college. She took 6 days off to go attend her daughter's graduation. She left the studio. We had her AI employee working for her 24/7, never calling in sick, never whatever. In the 6 days that she was gone, the AI employee booked her back-to-back sales calls. When she got back, she added an extra $10,000 to her that month, and she was gone for 6 days. And it was all because of AI. And she said to us, I am never not going to have this again. Like she, absolutely loved it. It was a solution that she could never even imagine prior to this because it was always her having to answer the questions.
A solution better than you can imagine.
There you go.
I love that. And this is a great example of success projection stories, the stories that we tell about our clients, and they can kind of they can amplify our ideas as well as give people a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like to work with you. And I think we would all love to take a week off and be booked with sales calls. So that's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
wouldn't that be great?
I want to hear okay. So I want to hear some stories from you, and I think this might be during the Infusionsoft migration. But I
Okay.
want to read back some of these things, and I want you to find a specific time and place, a specific room on a Tuesday afternoon where you were feeling these things. Your business and all of these tools combined together, the Infusionsoft and the ClickFunnels clashing, experiencing the hassle of trying to get all of this information from one place to another and actually have clarity in your business, spending all of your time maintaining a system that's supposed to give you freedom and energy, and you're stuck doing the process. Maybe there's a specific time where you were doing something that could have been automated, and you just gave yourself maybe even realizing how much of a hassle this was. When, Lisa, have you felt like this?
Yeah. Well, there many times over the years. However, specifically when we were in that process, um, when we realized that we could implement systems that did more than what we'd had in the past, right? So it was that, again, Infusionsoft is, it's a powerful program. It's very challenging. It's a challenging program. It's not for the person starting out. But we had become very proficient at it. But there's a difference between proficiency and being efficient, right? We were
Hmm.
proficient, but we weren't efficient. That was the difference.
So give me an example of that. I want to hear. I remember one Tuesday morning, I was in a bad mood because I was up late trying to migrate pages. And then I opened up a thing and I realized that there was an email that I had missed. I had missed a $10,000 sale and I wanted to throw my coffee at my monitor.
Uh, oh boy. Okay. Well, I would say I do remember we had, as I said, 15 years worth of content.
Hmm.
And so we made a decision that we knew we didn't have to bring all of the content over. But like you said earlier, there's stuff in there that was old, right? The old weeds were in there too. We didn't need that. And I would say we were working on the process of like how we were going to bring everything over and what was going to qualify in phase one, like what was the most important stuff. This is what would happen. I know exactly now. So we're like, what is the most important phase one pieces that have to come over here? And when we started doing that, it was amazing because we realized, holy crap, we don't, sorry, but we don't have to bring 15 years worth of stuff because the reality was we needed the most important things, phase one. And when we structured and we sat down and we mapped out this is part of phase one, when we realized these were phase two, et cetera, we actually went into phase two and said, do we really need this? And it was like this big aha moment because it was like we could spend all this extra time on phase two that we really need to? And I think for me, I'm always like, simple is better, simple is better, simple is better. I said this to my husband all the time, simple is better.
Yeah.
And when we both sat down and said, actually, I don't think we really need this, it was a huge aha for both of us because it was like this huge weight was lifted off of us. We literally only
Hold
ended.
on, Lisa. So this is a good
Okay.
second half of the story,
Okay.
but
But,
I want to hear about the weight that was on you. You
uh,
went straight into and I figured out the problem.
okay.
But what was it like having the problem?
Uh,
What was it like? So
okay.
you're sitting there thinking about 15 years worth of content. What's happening in your head? How am I ever going to do this? How much money is this going to cost? Is it all going to fall apart and explode? I'm sure there was a moment where you were sitting in a place and thinking these thoughts.
Yes.
Where did that happen?
I got it. Yes. And it was here. We were actually in this location. And that was it. We were literally kind of going, this is so much. This is so big. It's very overwhelming. because our initial thought was we needed to transition everything. That was our initial thought. So it's like, where the hell do we even begin? It was that. It was more of the drowning, like, how do we even breathe through this, right?
Hmm.
The first thought was, how do we breathe? Like, how, where do we start with this massive, it's like taking a muddy, thick pond, I guess you would say, right? Like just it just seemed like how can you clean that up? I would
Yeah.
say that was where we were overwhelmed. That was where we made the decision that we were going to move into this platform, but it was that how are we going to do this? And
And you
it,
probably have to do it fast, right? Or at least like we can't just have pieces breaking apart and like it's got to be fast and smooth if we
it had to
want
be
to keep going.
smooth. It had to be smooth. So it was that part before you come up with a solution, right? It's that part where you go, oh no, like where do we even begin? And so it was like looking at the bowl of spaghetti. We were looking at this huge bowl of spaghetti, and it was like, what spaghetti do we pull, right? Like, what string do we pull here? And I do know we both were, uh, it was heavy. It was really scary. It was really scary because we'd been so stable. But we also knew we were onto something that was so much better, but it scared the living daylights out of it. I mean, it was really scary to think that we're like,
Why
where do
did
we
you
start?
choose? There was a choice a little bit before this that like this needs to happen.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Because we were looking for a solution. We had been looking for a solution for quite a few years at that point, probably 4 years, a good 4 years. We've been looking for a solution that not only would work for us, but that would work for our clients. And we thought that was going to be one platform, and it didn't. But when we were introduced here, we said we knew what questions to ask. So in asking all the questions, can it do this? Can it do this? Can it do this? So it was like, for us, it was exciting because we knew that there was a possibility to do what we wanted. We just hadn't found it prior to that. We hadn't found it. And we knew it was going to be daunting. We knew it was going to be a really big process. That's why we took 1 year to literally build it out for ourselves. Um,
Hmm.
are there other people who did a lot faster? Sure. But we want to make sure we had a very complex business and there was a lot of complexities to it. And it was like, if anyone's going to test it, it might as well be us, right? Like, let's test it on ourselves. That was the decision. And again, when we were just looking for a solution that we hadn't found. Um, and
Perfect.
that's how, yeah, that was it.
I'm satisfied. Next up, I want to hear your version of the client taking 6 days off to go see her daughter graduate. What was the moment for you where you got to take a vacation, your systems were taking care of you, and you finally felt like you were being supported by
Oh,
your systems and your business?
I love that question. Nobody's ever asked me that.
Hmm.
So I know exactly when it was. As I shared, we have been in business for 22 years. Over those years, we very rarely took time off for ourselves. Most of our travel was always business related. So it would be we would travel for business and then maybe add a day or two on, right, for some downtime. Last year, this is actually actually it'll be a year the end of this month. We were able to take 18 days off. We had the trip of a lifetime to the Mediterranean with some dear friends of ours. Out of those 18 days, I will tell you that at least 10 or 12 of them, we were literally without internet, like no internet, which meant we had our systems set up, we had our team already prepped and ready, we had our clients prepped and let them know that there was going to be times that we wouldn't have, accessibility. And so we prepped everything ahead of time. We made sure our team was on board, everybody knew like what needed to happen. And I will tell you, and it's more so for my husband than me because he's always got the computer. But when you're out to sea and you have no internet, there's nothing you could do. And it was the best thing that ever happened. And it was literally the first time in 22 years that we were able to take time off to enjoy the lifestyle that we help our clients attain. And to do that for ourselves was the gift of a lifetime. It's still for us the most fantastic trip that we have ever taken. And it was,
Can
it
you
changed our
tell
life.
me about one place, one moment, a beach sunset, a dinner, excursion, a moment at sea that really like we can be in this moment with you and know what this feeling is?
Absolutely. There were many of them actually in that time. But we
Hmm.
were on an excursion to a remote island in a Greek island. It was one of the Greek islands, and I think it wasn't Crete, but I can't think of the name of it. I think it was Crete or outside of Crete, where we went to this incredible, beautiful, very remote little town. Um, and we were just so in the moment. There was neither, we weren't looking for internet, we didn't have our laptops. We were in the moment. It was beautiful, it was romantic, it was some of the most breathtaking scenery.
Describe
And
the scenery.
oh, okay. This town was incredible. It was, first of all, the scariest bus ride I've ever been on my life. Okay, we're on a massive bus doing these hairpin turns on cliffs that were literally over the edge, like scary as that we were sitting in the front. It was so much fun. And we're driving down, we get into this little town and we go walking down, and the homes all were really colorful. So they had like the blue door and the pink house and the greenhouse with the yellow door, like just color and flowers. And they all had these ocean views and all these little areas where you could walk down to the beach and look out onto the ocean or the inlet that we were in. And we just were like, we felt like we were just like there. We were part of it. We were walking the like neighborhoods, like we were exploring and walking through there. And we came up to a incredible bakery, Greek bakery that was out of this world. And everyone, and I don't know if you've ever been to Greece, but I will tell you this about Greece. The people in Greece love their country. They love to share their country and they have so much joy. And so it exuded from them back to us and back, right? It was like this like, beautiful exchange of energy everywhere we went. And
What
they
did you get at the bakery?
we got the best baklava I've ever
Of
had in my
course.
life. I mean, literally the best I've ever had in my life. It was insane. Um,
How does
and
it feel to share that story?
it just brings me back. It just brings me back right there to this beautiful, incredible location that I can't wait to go back to.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Okay, we're ready. Are you ready to hear your story?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
We need to do this. I remember sitting across from my husband, contemplating probably the biggest decision of our business since starting our business. We had been building on a platform for 15 years. Everything that we knew about how to manage, all of our knowledge, all of the pages, all of the content, all of our contacts, everything that makes our business is in there. But we also know that something needs to change. There are so many little ways where we're missing out on time, trying to fix little pieces of a system, making things up as we go along, or just manually doing things, or trying to make Frankenstein of 3 or 4 different systems fit together. And we can tell by now, after this many years in business, that most of our time is being spent maintaining the system that's supposed to be giving us time. But it is the scariest thing in the world to look at 15 years of content, so many thousands of hours of labor and ideas, and try to actually figure out, what do we need to do? What do we even transition first? How do we bring a whole cacophony of tools under one umbrella? And how do we do it without it all breaking and falling apart? If any one of these pieces stops working for too long, it's going to be detrimental. And I can remember just wishing that there was some kind of clear way, because I was so close to it and everything seemed so important. And there were so many opportunities now looking back that were just sitting right in front of my nose that I didn't even know to look for. But despite the fear, we were committed to growing a business that would allow us to live our lives and live our visions. And we start digging into it. We start mapping out what will be the first place and the first phase to start. And we get this hint. This isn't all of our tools. This is maybe just a third of them. And if we can get all of those pieces together working, we might not need anything else. And this first moment of like, maybe it could be simpler, maybe it could be easier, maybe I could have more time started to take hold. Friends, this process was not easy. Even with all of my years of experience in systems, it took an entire year to migrate so I could make sure to get all of it right. And I made a lot of costly and painful mistakes in the process. But through that process, I developed a system that was based in simplicity, minimizing the friction points to get me exactly what I needed in my business instead of more tools for tools' sake. I found out a way to map things out so that it made sense. It wasn't stressful for me, and it was a process that I could trust going forward and plan on growing with. I wanted something that felt seamless. I didn't want to feel vulnerable or any of the pieces falling out or falling apart in any of the time. And I wanted to really understand every piece of this process. So like I said, this took a long time and a lot of costly and painful mistakes. But as we started doing this for ourselves, we started attracting new clients who needed this too. And because of our new system and because of how we simplified and streamlined things, people were coming to us easier than ever. We had more free time, not only to be in our visionary states and actually advance the business, but also to enjoy our lives more. I can remember the first time in 22 years that my husband and I, who rarely took time off except for travel and business, um, taking 18 days off, an ambitious endeavor. We let all of our team know, we let all of our clients know, and we had everything prepped and ready. And we went on this cruise and on this ocean where the internet was gone for 12 of the 18 days. It was a surreal experience. I can remember us pulling up to this little remote Greek island, hopping on a bus and going on a crazy adventure, sitting in the front seat of this bus, whipping around these hairpin turns over the ocean corners and feeling like we're going to fall off at everyone, laughing, having a great time, and not 1 minute of worry if our business is going to be there when we get back. We go into this little town with amazing colored houses, blue and pink trim, flowers, ocean views at every angle, and coming across this little Greek bakery where all of the locals are excited to see us and excited to share their culture and their gifts with us. And we ordered the most incredible baklava. And I can remember crunching into that and thinking, this is the life. This is what we signed up for. This is why we do what we do. And I'm so grateful for that. And in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to teach you how we can create this same result for you.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Thank you. It is beautiful.
You are a master.
Thank you.
You're a master at this. That was incredible. And it felt like what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all yours now. And I hope you say it, and I hope you can, share it and make a more impact. Oh, okay. No worries.
Kyle, you are brilliant at what you do. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
What a wonderful experience. What a wonderful experience for me to go through and share that, but what you shared back.
Mm-hmm.
This is magical.
It's an honor. Thank you so much. And to close things up for us today, do you have any closing thoughts for us? And where can we go to learn more about you?
Oh, I cannot wait to re-listen to this again and listen to it with my husband. And actually, it's perfect timing because I know exactly how and where I can use this. So thank you for that. I will provide you with a link, but all of my socials are Lisza, so it's Liza, middle initial L, and then Crisalle, Crisalle. So I'll give that to you. That's all my socials. And I have a free gift as well for your listeners. We have a wonderful quiz that any of them can take to dive in and to figure out what kind of systems and processes that they may or may not have, and do they have a bowl of spaghetti? And we actually categorize into 4 different areas based upon your answers. It's a very cool process.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And closing thoughts for us today.
I am moved. I am truly moved by this process and working with you and sharing this. And thank you for the opportunity for me to share with your listeners as well.
Lisza Crisalle, thank you so much for joining us today on the Story Engine podcast.